Nah.
Welcome to East Coast LQ Reviews. Today, we have another bourbon examination. Today, we actually have 4 people, which is awesome because we've only had 3 people for the most part. But yeah, thanks to the panel members here. We got Das Bumpy from Bumpy Road Brews. Here's the Bumpy. Well, I just noticed you guys, all your names do not match what your channels actually are. Good job, guys. Thomas Mello 75 from Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Oh, actually, no, his does match. I'm sorry. He technically goes by Massachusetts Beer Reviews, but his channel name does actually match. Thomas Mello 75. There you go. We got Dan Mr. Williams from FLX Beer Reviews. And
I'm bothered and bond, sir.
Apparently he is bald and blonde. All right. Yeah, this is an awesome bottle. I just want to put that out there right before we do the examination. This is one of those bottles that I personally started off with, like when I first started getting into bourbon. This is one of the bottles where I was like, dude, this is less than $20 when I first started buying it, less than $20. They're pretty much telling you get bargain for your money. You get 100 proof. 50% alcohol by volume. It is bottled and bond, so it has to be from a single distillation season or something like that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody here.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And then aged at least 4 years, so it has to be at least 4 years. So you're getting a 4-year-old 100 proof.
I want him disqualified.
Bourbon
Disqualified.
made by Heaven Hill, so it's Heaven Hill. I'll pull up Breaking Bourbon in a couple minutes. I think do they have the mash bill? I'm gonna check that out.
No. Their website might. The Evan Williams' website doesn't.
Here's the mash bill
Okay.
mixed with the potatoes in Jesse's stomach as he chugged it.
I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Potato bourbon. That doesn't.
On the
sound
side, in accordance with these standards, this bourbon is 100 proof, aged at least 4 years, and produced at a single distillery within a single distillation season. I do have a fresh bottle.
I do too.
As we usually like to go over before we start. How much did everyone pay? I paid $20. I can get it more towards Eric's area for $18 at Yankee Spirits. I saw online. But near where I'm located, I bought it for $20. How about everybody else? And mine is a $7.50.
I paid $19.99
for a $7.50.
for $7.50.
I'm at about $17.99.
It's not bad. And Dan, of course, with the different size bottle.
For this wonderful liter of Evan Williams, I paid $24.99.
That's pretty good. That's really good, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. Wait, 25? So you figure five more, 250 milliliters more. $5. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me.
It wasn't until Eric held up his bottle. I was going to ask a question, but
okay. No, I don't even have my notepad out.
Moot point. I was going to ask, am I the only one to have this? But apparently I am. So, or not have this. Sorry.
All right. So, yes. To get to that, I have had this before. I've done this like 5-6 years ago. I did a review on this. Then I actually did a review compared to the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. So if you guys are watching this, and if you're curious, you want to hear my opinion 5 years ago when I was a complete novice, you can watch that video of my comparison. I have a little bit of this. I think we might do something with this possibly in the future. But before we really get into things, we do have a scoring system here. It's not all just absolute nonsense. So, Eric, if you do have a notepad. I know, I'm sorry. This is kind of last minute. I probably should have told you this, unless you watched the thing. Do you have a notepad by any chance next to you?
I got something near me, yeah.
Okay. So we use a 6-category scoring system out of 100 points. So we start off with the aesthetics, which values in at 10 points. Then we're going to go over the nose, which values in at 20 points. Flavor, 20 points. I'm writing this down. That's why I'm saying it's slow. Sorry. Mouthfeel at 20 points. Finish at 20. What's wrong, Dan?
I don't know why Jesse's using a glass. Just not sure why.
And then value at 10. All right. Out of 100, of course, like I said. And then at the end of the show, so we're going to go over each category together. So it's pretty much like a full-on review with everybody here. We're not going to pull everyone up separately. We're all going to talk about it at the same time. All of us are going to give it a score at the end where we're going to tally up our results. And then we're going to average it out. And then we're going to put it on this nice little board that Dan has over there and see what it competes to the rest of the bourbons that we've done this examination on. So this has been pretty fun, I will say. And I guess we'll just start this off by I'm going to look up some more information. Let's crack open these bottles, pour it up. We're going to talk about the aesthetics of the bottle / the whiskey itself, the color, how it looks, alcohol legs, all those goods.
I tell you right now, aesthetics, I give it a 6.
Out of 10.
I am very far behind. So
It's like a copper penny kind of color, maybe slightly lighter than that. There's some alcohol legs. There's some tears, not super thick looking ones.
What do you think about the bottle there, Eric?
Oh, the actual aesthetics of the set.
Yeah, like the whole package. The whole package.
Not just the looks of the contents. It's got sour mash, gives you a little history, tells you what bottle and bond is. It's very informative to just the naked eye that it needs, and it tells you what it needs to be. We'll give it a 7 out of 10. Like it tells you it's 100 proof, a single distillery under supervision of the U.S. government.
Well, remember, also take into consideration the aesthetic of the actual whiskey itself. You know.
Yeah. I'm sitting at a 6 because I had the damn screw top.
Yeah,
I get it.
Screw top. I mean, 4 years.
I was gonna give it a 5, but bringing in the whiskey itself, I guess 6 is fine.
I think I'm gonna agree with you guys. 6, I think, is fair. It's a little bit above average. Tons of information, but
I enjoy the color scheme.
The color of the whiskey is, of course, it's not super dark. You know, we're getting some alcohol legs for 4 years. I think 6 out of 10 is a good solid number there. Nose, everybody.
Nosing is.
What did you get? Did you say 6?
Jackson on it?
I said 7 out of 10. The outlier.
Make sure to write those down to tally them up, Eric, at the end.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Got it ready.
Thank you, sir.
Nose.
I get berries out of this.
Ethanol.
All right. Before we start anything, I have to ask Jesse and Eric. Is this different from when you open the bottle? Because I know that neck pour is a little bit different.
I tend to think maybe not in this. I don't super. The
I
answer to that
didn't pay as close of attention.
I don't remember, however, from the beginning of the bottle, if I'm getting the same amount of an ethanol hit that I'm getting right now. But I seem to think that sometimes that ethanol will die off after time. You're able to get some more stuff when it mixes with that.
I'm getting those little hard cinnamon candies.
Yep.
Red Hots.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
Big red.
Yeah, Big Red mixed with like the hard candy-ish.
See, I get some of that kind of like.
I get a good amount of vanilla and peanut.
See that?
I get a lot of peanut.
I can see, I can see peanuts. So I'm seeing it almost everything everybody's saying so far.
Where you're going with that? The peanut is so light as in comparison to.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, to the regular Evan. The regular Evan is like straight up peanut. Cheers, Cheech. What's up, man? Cheers, bro. Thanks for stopping by.
I get something that smells like a moon pie. You guys ever had?
I have a little bit more information, guys. I have the mash bill here.
Okay.
78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye.
There's not a lot of rye influence. There's no real. I'm not really getting a super herbal note. I'm not getting anything that's minty at all, really.
I'd say with the moon pie, like a slight chocolate.
Yeah.
This was saying MSRP of $15 in 2017. That's pretty.
When they did this review on that website. Yeah.
I mean, when I remember like when I bought this and I did the comparison of this and the black label, pretty sure it was around like 16, 17 bucks. It was pretty cheap.
I think it's about a couple dollars, just a couple dollars cheaper in my market. It's not very oaky at all.
You get that raisin.
Big whiff of the cherry. Sure, Bumpy. I got you on that.
What's going on, man? Good to see you.
Caramel, vanilla, ethanol a little bit, but it's not singeing my nose hairs. Some 100 proof plus things can kind of singe your nose hairs a little bit. This one's not doing that, but I'm getting a whiff of alcohol. Not very oaky at all. But now that I'm thinking about it, to me, the predominant notes, maybe not like a Buffalo Trace necessarily here, but I am getting the cherry and some deep vanillas out of this for sure.
I always get that like standard, just typical kind of Heaven Hill notes with this, but more prominent than like the regular black label. Peanut, caramel, vanilla, raisin, and then you get that cinnamon spice.
Yeah.
Now with this, the spice isn't. It's not like wild turkey spice.
No, that's a higher rye.
You still get it. I think with this one, you get a little bit more of that nutty kind of characteristic.
You know what? You're right about that. The very end of this of the nosing. That's kind of nice to have that in there. It supplements not having sort of a rye character. What am I going to do?
Like this kind of goes along with that moon pie thing, but I'm kind of getting a slight bit of banana almost out of this. Like so, almost getting like a banana split with like chocolate.
I can see that. I think I've heard of some people saying that they've gotten some banana notes out of some Heaven Hill stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if I personally get it, but I can see where you're coming from.
Maybe where the vanilla and the cherries are mixing together there, or something to do with how the vanillas are coming across. All right, I think I got a rating for that. It's not the most nose in the world.
It's just, I mean, as far as like,
is there malted barley? 12%.
Like you said though, the thing is about this is, I feel like this is just kind of like the black label just intensified because it really is. Essentially, it really is. 7% and probably aged a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's kind of like that whiskey, the black label, just like more tamed, more laid back. So I would say if I were to give the black label a score to try to maybe like based off that. Black label. I know that. I'm saying, but if I were to give like the black label like a 12, I would give this like maybe like a 13, because if I say 14, I feel like a 14 is too high.
Sure.
I got this at 11.
3 above average, I think, is fair because it does have a solid nose. There's really but on the other hand, there's really not much complexity to it. So I think I'm going to.
I guess there's like a lack of oakiness. I'm going to bring. Yeah, I'll go down to a 4. I'll go down to a 14.
I'm at 11.
Well, that's pretty low. I thought the nose was pretty good. I like the fact that
I'm not getting all like a bunch of what you guys said. It's not very bombastic. It's kind of like a one-trick pony for me.
I think we all agree that's not very bombastic. Yeah.
You also have the fresh crack, right, Dan? With me, right?
Yeah, I think maybe there's a bit more ethanol with a fresh crack.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm not getting a lot of ethanol.
One thing I did notice about this was like I did smell it. You usually smell almost everything. I even smell PBRs, for Christ's sakes, when I'm just drinking them. It's like, all right.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
To me, it's slightly above average.
I'm going to drink one right now.
I have average.
Slightly above average.
Numbers, so I went in the middle. I'm going to go on I was at a 14, and then I went to 12 after hearing Dan because I kind of agree with a lot of what he said. Now I'm just going to go right in the middle of that. I'm going to do 13 out of 20. It's not very bombastic, but is there?
Yeah, that's what I went. I went with
a little. Is there anything besides a little bit of alcohol really that's detracting from this? Not really, but
nothing detracts, but nothing sets it.
I would say like a deep inhale on this thing.
Drinking it, Dan?
tier that you really are liking the nose of. Save those rating numbers for something that really stands out to you. That's what I think.
Is everybody giving the score?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Let's dive in.
You guys want-
As soon as you're done with your beer.
No, I took a sip of my beer. I'm drinking some water.
Ambrosia. No, that's a different what's it.
Yeah, what are you talking about, though?
Kentucky Hug. Nice 100 proof.
Yeah.
Cinnamons and vanillas, followed by the cherry. I can see where your nuttiness is in the flavor too. It seems like towards the end of the sip, you're getting some of that nuttiness, which I suppose could, with that vanilla and that nuttiness, may turn into somebody's banana. I guess I can see.
Yeah,
how that could work.
I get a little bit of clay with this one.
Clay. I've never put clay in my mouth.
Yeah, there's a distinct minerality to it, I think. So for me, it kind of goes like right on the forefront. I still get that red hot thing, but then it goes into this minerality, and then kind of finishes off with like a bit of like a payday candy bar kind of esque.
I was gonna say, you want to know what my sweet notes are? It's butterscotch, dark chocolate, peanut, and vanilla. It's like the sweetness.
Jesse, you getting that like?
I kind of get that like
earth tone right here. It's like right here.
I get like not salty, because I don't get salty, but I get like a sweet, nutty kind of like you would get with like I'm not getting salty, but you know what I'm saying? Like you would get like a bag of peanuts. You get, like a little bit of a, I mean, maybe that's like a trail mix, kind of like a chocolate with a peanut and some caramel in there.
I don't think this comes off as nutty as Knob did. Like, because I didn't get like the nuttiness on the nose, but I'm definitely getting that in the taste.
I always consider like Evan to be like the straight up peanut whiskey. Like if my buddy was like, "Oh, I like peanuts," and I'm getting into whiskey, what should I try? I'd be like, "Oh yeah, try some of the Evan Williams stuff," because like I feel like it knocks it out of the park with that nutty note, and it's not necessarily like offensive either.
Jesse, did you try one of those and then pick us up?
The nuts? No, because it's a mixed bag of nuts. So there's also honey dry roast or whatever, dry honey, whatever. They're dry roasted with honey. And then
there is some
roasted salt.
There's more of a woody aspect to the flavor than there is in the nosing. Yeah. I feel like however the oak is being presented is lending itself to more of a drying type of a quality. If that makes any sense whatsoever.
Just sipping on this is like your typical. I like bourbon.
Yeah.
I don't really collect bourbon. I like to drink it every once in a while. It's enjoyable.
Did you just say I don't collect bourbon?
No, I'm saying like this is your non-collector's bottle of bourbon where they know that they're going to go somewhere. They're going to get it for a good price and it's going to be solid. It's not overly complex. It's not too crazy in flavor. I'm drinking some water on the side, so I'm not really getting much of that heat. I'm kind of masking it with like a nice sip of water before. And this is just so easy going. It's 50%. I will say we're moving on to the mouthfeel section, even though I haven't rated flavor yet. But it's a little bit on the thinner side for 50%. Kind of getting towards that realm. It's definitely a little bit going more towards crushable. But as far as flavor, dialing back to flavor, I think it has some solid flavor for the money. It's just more of like you get like a good intense like a decent bourbon punch, but you're not getting a whole lot of complexity, but you are getting a good representation of what you're going to get out of a bottle and bond. You know what I mean? Like Eric said, especially like that astringency, that 4 year, which is really what's going to stand out in a bottle and bond, is that 4 year age. And you can make, you know, a bunch of whiskeys 100 proof. You can make a bunch of whiskeys all these higher proofs. But that 4 year, that standard 4 year is, you know, that's something where like it's a different realm. You start to get more into a oakier.
Well, yeah. I mean, it also
slightly more balanced, not as kind of punchy. You get those intense flavor notes. Like this is like an opening to a bourbon where you're going to get some of that age out of it. You know,
I don't feel that this particular bourbon, whatever they're doing,
money, you know,
whatever is happening with the barrels, they're not super really overly charred barrels. I'm not getting a super charred, almost smoky note. I'm not really getting really even a toasty note either. I think Tanner kind of said it really nicely. The way that I'm going to put kind of what he said was, so basically I'm going to say I got cinnamon, spicy notes up front, light brown sugar notes, and some caramels and vanillas. I do actually want to mention the cherry, and I do get that ever so slightly nuttiness. Now that you mention that, I can actually see where that comes from. The woody note, maybe that's more of the finish. It goes to a drying flavor, so maybe I should just save that for the finish as well. But basically, I say it's nice classic bourbon notes overall. With just a bit of an ethanol kick, but it's nothing that's over the top. So what would that translate into a score? Is this the question, right?
I'm at a 10.
I went a little higher than the notes. Really, you guys? Oh my god, you guys are kind of.
I'm at a 13.
I went to 14.
I like the nose more.
You can't go wrong. You guys got to remember what you're drinking here, and that's not to say like, you know, we're gonna eventually down the line compare this to something that we pay however much money for.
But I'm also the one picking out the clay note, which I get out of whiskey.
I didn't get that.
Not that nice.
Yeah,
so
I don't
getting
get
a clay
that.
note out of it.
I don't get that. I don't get clay. I think this is really good. This is like I was saying, like
I like this.
$20.
Yeah, but
$20, and you're getting even for just what's on the label for the flavor. I think it's. We also didn't even mention it's charcoal filtered.
Tanner, though, like for any downfall in points for the flavor, can be picked back up when it comes to
certainly
value,
can. You're right.
Score value. So like you know,
no,
what I mean?
I know that I'm taking value into accountability, but I'm saying like this is like one of those. Why do I keep saying like this is one of those bottles where you pay $20 for and you don't expect it to taste as good as it does. This is one of those bottles where you bring somewhere to a party or whatever, bourbon, you know, maybe your friends like bourbon. Everybody's getting into bourbon. You guys are young. How much you pay for that, man? Oh, I paid $20. That's probably going to be rough.
Yeah.
People would say. You taste it, you're like, oh, wow, that's
not rough.
Yeah.
It's actually
it's not as bad as the old granddad, but
that's actually pretty good for $20. You know what I mean?
You can add some sweeter notes or more of a depth of some kind of a char to the barrel, perhaps. Maybe that just means this would be nice if they sat it around for a longer time, but that would obviously up the price, and maybe that would do detriment to your value portion.
Good whiskey.
I would agree with that possibly, but I'd have to look into that again.
So did I do a comparison on those? I might have actually, to be honest with you, Ozzy. I think I have a video on that.
I don't think the mouth feels too light. I agree, it's like lower side of medium, but I don't think it's.
Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I gave the flavor 14 out of 20. I'm with Tanner.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Mouthfeel, though, on the other hand, kind of falls flat on that one. I was a little disappointed with the mouthfeel.
Really?
For 50%, I totally feel it. Feel like it should
I
have.
thought the mouthfeel was matching up pretty well with what the flavors and stuff are.
How coating is it? How does it change over time in the mouth?
I think it has a smoothness. I think it has kind of a light medium body.
I don't know. You might be able to talk me up. I don't know. I'm not crazy about the mouthfeel. I feel like it's a little lacking for the 50%.
I'm
I
at
think
16 out of 20 for the mouthfeel.
I think that's kind of where you So like this is So my analogy of this would be not analogy. My what's the word?
Comparison.
No.
Screw
it. No, I don't know what I'm saying. What I was gonna say is I think this then the flavor that you get from this is worth the money. But as far as like you can tell that you're drinking a $20 bourbon when you get into the mouthfeel.
Oh,
That's kind of what I get into. What I'm saying, like a novice would drink this and they'd be like, "Oh, this is really good," blah blah blah. But a veteran bourbon drinker would drink this and be like, "Oh yeah, it's just not as. It doesn't have that body like some of these other bourbons do at that 50%."
Yeah. I'm at 11. It's a little higher than average. Slightly.
I might just
for mouthfeel, I'm kind of comparing it to like I got the Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond.
Yeah.
And then I also have the McKenna Bottle and Bond. Sort of comparing it to those as far as because that's to like as far as my knowledge for like 100 proof Bottle and Bond.
Sure.
I don't know. I did a Evan Williams Black Label versus Evan Williams 17.
That makes better sense with like-minded proofs almost.
Yeah.
With the small batch versus the regular Black Label.
Yeah.
You want to move on to finish?
Mouthfeel. I didn't give my number.
I don't know what to rate this mouthfeel.
Did you? Yeah, I don't think Eric did either.
I may just go right in the middle here and be like 10 out of 10. I mean, yeah, I just don't know what to really. Look
at it though.
For me at least, there's just like a smooth.
I'm getting some alcohol.
Maybe more about the finish, and maybe that's going to get a higher score than a lot of different things. I think there's a little bit of. I think the alcoholic flavor inside of your mouth is there the entire time. However, I will agree.
So we do
that there is a little bit of a thinness overall that grows only a touch in the feel of the mouth feel, but to me, you're getting a little bit of a thinness and some alcohol. But the alcohol itself isn't coming across like, hey, this is some kind of a youthful feeling thing or anything like that. And maybe that has more to do with the flavor. The flavor didn't come across to me like it was just like super nasty, grainy or anything. But I think it's just the middle of the road for what it is. It's not super hot in the mouth.
Yeah, I gave it a 12.
So it's somewhere in the middle for me, I guess. Don't really know what to think about that mouthfeel. So 10 out of 10.
These scores are so interesting.
I went 12.
Okay.
Well, I started to get a little bit more. It's not. I don't know. It's just. It's not as full bodied as I would want it to be for like 50%. Then you got to remember like what you're paying. Well, yeah, I think it's like maybe a couple points above average.
Yep.
Finish. Finish is pretty good. Finish is not bad. You get a little bit of spice, you get a little bit of oak, you get some sweetness that carries throughout.
For 50% alcohol, it kind of burns more up front, and then it kind of finishes, and it kind of like it doesn't leave this lingering just burn, So
agreed with Bump A Road.
Yeah, it's kind of got the wild turkey effect where you get the spice.
It's something you could definitely do, do a chug of, or not chug a shot. And
Don't you feel like it kind of has the same finish as like the wild turkey, like the 101, where it was like it's kind of spicy, but then it was like more laid back and very flavorful, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The initial finish is kind of like you said, like kind of spicy, but then afterwards it mellows out, and you're like, oh, I want to grab another sip. You know, you want to go in for another one. You know.
Yeah, I'm at a 14. 14 on my
14
finish.
for the finish. It's a good number.
It's got a short on the medium side. It's not completely. This thing definitely doesn't. I mean, I did say that after a while, after the short to medium, I think I wrote it in the flavor, but I should add this to the finish instead. I think it's got a short on the medium side finish, and these woody notes that you're getting tend to lend it to a drier finish. I think it's up front. You're getting all the sweet for the to go back to the flavors. That's what you're getting up front to me. Is your classic sweeter bourbon notes, and then it finishes on the dry side with a little bit of. It's on the dry side with a little bit more of the. If you wanted to say that nuttiness or payday or something, there the nuttiness is all sort of at the end of that medium side, and then it's just kind of woodsy dry. So it's got stuff it's trying to latch onto at the end of the day. It's not completely flat.
So if I have to go off a recollection, like what I remember of the Black Label was more like kind of nutty, going towards that kind of like peanut brittle aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very like harsh. Whereas like this, it is a little bit more tamed as far as like the nuttiness, sweetness from the caramel. You get a little bit more oak and you get a little bit more spice. It's a little bit more laid back. So it seems like there's aspects that I really enjoy out of the white label, and there's aspects that I really like out of the Black Label. And there are some other products by them that I've had where you kind of get a balance of the two, like the double oaked or extra aged, whatever it's called. I think it's is it the extra? No, those are two different ones. I'm sorry. Different. The double oaked is a completely different one. The extra aged is the one that I'm talking about. The extra aged is, I think it's like used to be 8, maybe it's 7, maybe it's still 8. But that one I really like. Have you guys ever had the extra aged?
I've never had any other Evan Williams product, so I can only judge.
The extra aged is pretty good. I definitely think that I would like the extra aged over these two.
I lied. I had, I think, an Evan Williams honey one time.
Oh, really?
I've had Evan Williams eggnog.
Finish isn't bad. I mean, it's solid. Especially, like, I don't know. I keep going back to the money, the value. I need to stop doing that.
Eggnog.
But
Matt, finish.
I'm at 13.
I think I agree with you there, Dan. I was thinking 13. You said 13. I'm going 13.
Yeah. Can we agree?
I think that's a good number.
I just added a little bit of water on my end to see if that did anything else, if it prolonged a finish or not. I actually think, now that I'm looking at this a little bit, there is some of the alcohol that's left in the finish. And after that woody, dry, nutty thing, I do get some amount of grain. So it could, at the very tail end of the right as it starts to dry in that finish, I like it. But then it kind of turns south a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but there's a little bit of a grain aspect that I don't like at the very, very, very end of that. But 13's good. Why not? Yeah, that works for me.
And it's so funny too, because like you guys, or a couple of you, I know Bumpy. Eric, have you had yours, or did you just buy yours?
No, I've had mine for a little while.
Yeah, he just bought it earlier tonight.
Okay. So we do have two different outlooks.
Yep.
So that will kind of be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
I do remember this bottle kind of opening up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is so kind of like in your face when you first pop it open. But it's also not in your face, whereas like after you sip on it a little bit, like initially it is kind of like wham, I'm a bottle and bond bourbon. And then once you have a few grams, maybe it's just alcohol hitting your bloodstream. But yeah, it starts to calm down. It starts to become a little bit more sippable.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm at 13 for the finish. Everybody else, did you guys have your numbers for the finish?
Yeah,
I said 13.
14.
14. Okay.
I definitely like the flavors better than the finish. Definitely.
I think the most important topic of tonight, based off of what we have in front of us, the Evan Williams Ball and Bond, the value.
I got an answer for that already.
I have an answer, but I'm going to let everybody else go.
I gave it an 8.
Let's let everybody else go.
Dan, you give it an 8?
Yep.
Care to explain yourself there, bud?
Nope.
Nope.
I gave mine an 8 as well.
It's cheap. It's smooth. It's I don't know, man. It's like if I walked into like some hometown liquor store and I wanted like a bourbon I wasn't gonna be mad about, and it has to be cheap.
Yeah,
I'll buy this.
Well, that was where I kind of gave it the value of 8 because we've had other bottles.
I so wanted to disagree with
the same price, the same price range.
Yep.
Right.
But those whiskeys
should be given it a 9
bourbon
for that 25 for a liter. Sheesh. No, yeah, 8 all day. That's perfect.
I don't know. Like besides the value, I guess I take everything else into factor when it comes to the value, but I can't like say because the value is this that everything else gets amped up. I'm not the way I view it. I just can't. I judge it how it is. Like I try and judge it as if I was drinking a blind 2-ounce sample, and then gets revealed. I'm like, oh, okay. Then we think about value.
Yeah. And I was just looking at like the other ones that we've had that were $20.
Everybody. So what is your score?
That I liked more than I like this. So I think those are better value, even if the ABV is less. I think that.
Oh, I know. I was just thinking I was gonna give this a 9, and then I'm thinking about like Wild Turkey 101, and then the Russell's 10, and I'm like,
you're talking about
I would all day spend $10 more and get the Russell's 10 over this.
Correct. Yeah. But you have to put that into perspective. It's $10 to $12 extra for those things, which is why
I'm saying as far as value, $10 more, 6 years older. No, actually, no. I'm sorry. No, scratch that. The Russells was like 40, but I would still buy the Russells over this.
Yeah.
As far as
I'm just saying, like the Wild Turkey 101, I think it's
right. Wasn't the Russells 40?
It should be between 32 and 35, but I think in some places it is going up to that 40 mark these days. Yeah.
Okay. I'm in Jesse's camp. I'd rather have 101.
Even Eagle Rare. Oh, 101 all day. 101 all day. You go, what is that? $6, $7 more. And then you get 101, which is way better than this. Oh, yeah, all day. What did we give 101 as far as value?
Can't tell you that. I didn't write that one down.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
I did not save the 101 or Russells. I only have the final score average.
I think the 101 was somewhere.
I feel like I still paid whatever much more for Russell.
I think it was a 9. I think I gave it a 9 for the 101 for value.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm at an 8 for this. I mean, it's just a point below, but
the 101 should have got a 10 if I didn't give it a 10.
Just about. Yeah, that one's a little more money than this, and I feel like the Wild Turkey 101's got a hand over fist better depth of flavor and complexity over this. And I mean, there's that bourbon supposed to be a blend of between 6 and 8 years, so it really does show extra in the way that it tastes and the flavors and the finishes and even the aromas. I started rating the value at about a 10 out of 10 with this, and I brought it down. I brought the Evan Williams Bottle Bond down to a 9 out of 10. There's another bourbon that Heaven Hill makes that I would, in this exact price point, that I would rather buy. And for bourbons in that same price point, I would rather buy. It's called It's literally called Fighting Cock, people, and it's from Heaven Hill Distillery, and it's a 103 proof, and I think it's only about maybe 3 years old. But to my knowledge, one thing that, well, actually, really, two things for me is that number one, you can't find that all over the place. It's not super prevalent like Evan Williams. And number two, to my knowledge, unless I've never heard of it, I don't think they make a 1.75 liter bottle like you can find of Evan Williams, which is the better value, which brings it up to maybe this day and age. I think stuff is going up, so I think maybe $25 for a 1.75 liter of Evan Williams in southeastern Massachusetts. So that's a pretty good deal. If you know nothing else, if you can find, if you need bourbon or you want one, you can find nothing else except for the flavored varieties that we're not really paying attention to, that I never buy at all. Anything realistically labeled Evan Williams is going to be a really solid labeling in its price point, regardless of what it is. So I think that the Evan Williams name alone provides you with a really solid value, and you shouldn't feel bad at the end of the day for not spending a bunch on an Evan Williams bottle. You should be doing pretty okay with that for its price point.
So what we're gonna do really quick, because we're actually doing pretty good with time. We're at 42 minutes, roughly around an hour is when we kind of go about with this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go over each panel member. Just go over your score, kind of. Go over your categories. You can do it quick. Just go quick. Throw out your number, what you like, what you didn't like. And then we are going to do an average, and then we'll round it out.
I can't wait to hear this.
So we're literally adding up all of our scores, and that's the score.
Yeah, we're going to go over quick. We're just going to give a quick analysis after everybody has talked. Go over final numbers, give your final score, move on to the next person, and then we'll tally up the scores, average them out, and we'll have a score for this. So we're going to start with Bumpy. Bumpy, are you ready or?
Sure.
Okay. So you don't have to go, full into detail. Just kind of give your scores and a slight analysis of what you thought.
So for the appearance of the bottle, the screw top, the screw top cap, and the appearance of the whiskey. I mean, that kind of raised up my score on the eye appeal, or whatever we're calling that. The self-esteem of the whiskey, the aesthetic.
The self-esteem. The
yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10. For the nose, I was a bit higher, but listening to you guys complain about the nose a little bit, it brought me down to a 14 out of 20. Just listen, like there isn't much of the barrel and stuff showing through, but I did enjoy that kind of moon pie and banana split-esque, like with chocolate ice cream, fake chocolate ice cream. Like the generic, like Great Value brand chocolate ice cream smell. Yeah, like not the deep, rich stuff. It had a different nose. It was interesting to me. Yeah, about 14 out of 20 I gave it. For the flavor score, I was down on that a little bit. You guys almost talked me to giving it an 11, but I went back to a 10. I just can't get over it does have a lot of clay flavor to me. Some other notes that come through is getting that peanut and stuff, like Tanner was saying. There's a bit of a cherry note and stuff like that, but the clay is pretty prominent for me. I was at a 10 out of 20. I just kind of kept it like, okay, this is kind of like the average getting clay. And a lot of times when I get clay, I don't even like it. There's some I like absolutely like, it's horrible. That's all I get. It's hot clay. Moving on, the mouthfeel, I thought it was pretty appropriate for what the flavor notes were and stuff like that. It had kind of a smooth feel on the palate for me, kind of a light side medium body feel. And I was at a 16 out of 20. For the finish, even though it was hot up front a bit with the alcohol, it didn't seem to ruin the finish at all. Like kind of the alcohol didn't leave me burnt, on the palate or in the throat. Something I think you could definitely chug pretty easily. And I was at a 14 out of 20 for the finish. And then for the value, just based off of other whiskeys that I've had in the same price range and just how much I've enjoyed some of the aromas and the flavors, and kind of the amount of depth out of some of the other whiskeys, getting more of the barrel and stuff like that out of them. I just felt this was more like an 8 out of 10. And my total score was at a 68 out of 100.
Wow.
It's not bad at all.
That is not bad. Cool.
Especially for what we paid. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like I've said that like 37 times then. All right. Cheers, Bumpy. Awesome. 68 out of 100. That's that's I feel like we're right in the same realm. Next up, I'm gonna pull up Eric.
Okay.
Thank you for your last thoughts there, Bumpy. That was awesome.
You're welcome. I tried to go through them as coherently and quick as possible.
As coherently as fast as possible.
So I'm going to go
coherent beer reviews. There you go. Incoherent beer.
I'm going to go quickly over what I scored each of our categories, and then go on to how the overall kind of went. I'm going to give you I wrote some overall thoughts here that'll sum up the day here for me. The aesthetics and the looks between the actual bourbon and its packaging label, 7 out of 10. The nosing got a 7 out of 10. Yep, the nosing got a 13 out of 20. The flavors did the best for me, which I think is, I think the flavor and the value is most important, at least to me. These two things are most important to me. The flavor got a 15 out of 20. That's a pretty effing good rating, if you ask me. Mouthfeel, 10 out of 20. Not much to write home about. Pretty thin and not lackluster. I just don't know what else to really say about it. And then some of the alcohol gave it a little bit of punch in the mouthfeel, which is cool. Finish, it got a 13 out of 20, and the value got a 9 out of 10, and that totals up to a what seems abysmal, but I'll explain it. A 52 out of 100 for the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. For Thomas Metal 75, I write, overall, this is a Glencairn worthy glass at practically next to nothing for the cost, with nothing that'll wow you or knock your socks off. It's not complex, but the higher ABV helps to bring out the classic bourbon notes and will work nicely in all your bourbon cocktails. I think more than anything, my overall score represents the lack of complexity and depth of aromas than it does the taste. But if we're talking about purely how it tastes and the actual dollar bills and the value you're going to spend on this, this is definitely overall a worthy bottle of your time if you've never had it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. And I do go back to this. So the 52 is still a recommendation, and I go back to it. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. I go back to this too. That's funny you said that, because last time I reviewed this was like 5 years ago, but I probably had maybe 2 or 3 bottles since that.
I go back to this too because I had bought it because of your recommendation to buy it before Tanner, and then all of a sudden Dan wanted to do it, so I had to go buy it again.
I said Elijah Craig. I said if we want to do something cheap, we can do this.
Well, yeah. Cheers, Eric. Sorry, yeah, I had to use the bathroom. Thanks for holding down the fort.
Rob, you got it.
Yeah. Seems like we're all pretty close here, but yeah, we'll move on to Dan. Hear what Dan has to say.
Eric's was a 52, huh?
Yeah.
Did you do your math right, Eric?
Yeah. Did you add 6 categories together?
I certainly did. 7,
Okay.
13, 15, 10, 13, and 9.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
All right. Aesthetics, I gave it a 6. I like the color concept on the bottle. Sort of reminded me of Jack Daniels' stepbrother kind of bottle. Whiskey looks pretty good. I like how there's a lot of information on there. Screw cap is what killed it for me. If it was a cork, I think I'd give like a 7. But yeah. Oh well. Nose, I gave it 11. For me, it was just above average. Nothing really jumps out at me. It smelled like a whiskey. I mean, it's pleasant. It's not off-putting, but it's not, you know. It smells like McDonald's. I smelled McDonald's 100 times before. It smells like a whiskey. Flavor, I gave it a 13. I think overall, like, again, I like the flavor. I like that kind of red hot aspect of it. I did pick up on the minerality kind of aspect that Bumpy was kind of talking about. It kind of toned it down for me. It wasn't really. What's up?
I think Eric.
Admit defeat. There was one category that did not get put into consideration in my overall calculation. It is not 52. It is 67 out of 100.
67?
Yeah, there you go. You correct.
What one was it? What one did you leave out?
I think I must have somehow left out the finish.
Okay. All right, Bumpy, you were 68.
67 sounds way nicer. Not 52.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. All right. Dan.
I was like, your numbers were kind of close to mine. I'm like, I didn't think it was that far off. But
I forgot that. All right. Anyways.
Yeah, flavors of 13. Again, a little bit above average. Nothing like to write home about, but it gets the job done. Mouthfeel for me was 11. I don't think it came off quite as thin for me as it did some others. I didn't mind it, but I could see where one would say it's a little on the lackluster side. Finish, 13. Just kind of drops off. It doesn't really linger. There's not like this overwhelming just kind of takeover. It kind of stays at the front of the palate and never kind of saturates down in the deep depths of the palate that I like some bourbons to do, where you're just kind of just sitting there for quite a while after, just going, and you're not even taking another sip, but you're still getting that full aspect of everything. But value, I gave it an 8. I mean, $24.99 for the Dan size bottle. It works. Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. Would I get it again? I'd probably get 101, right? I feel like this is going to go up in the cupboard and sit next to that bottle of Four Roses. And
that was what this did.
Like, if I don't want to drink something that is a little bit more expensive, if I'm getting low on it, or if it's a bottle I know I'm going to have hard to find, I'll drink that if I want to sip on something. The Four Roses.
Do you ever just make cocktails?
Yeah, so that's what I reserved the Four Roses for.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not drinking Four Roses straight. I don't enjoy it.
This is a good cocktails bourbon.
Yeah, I might check it out. It could be another cocktail one.
It's great. It's great in eggnog.
You're a sick fuck.
Whoa.
Anyways, I'll take a 62 on mine all day, sir.
That's what you gave it?
62 overall.
I think you were the lowest.
Well, until I corrected myself.
Well, nice, Dan. Awesome, bro. Yeah.
Wild. I can't wait.
So I think it's me up next.
Yes, sir.
All right. So for aesthetics, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Screw cap. Actually, you know what?
You can do whatever you want.
I kind of want to go up. I say 6 out of 10 because the bottle isn't so fancy. But they just give you so much. Yeah, I'm going to 7.
That's where my 7 came from exactly. I like that they have
going to 7.
information
I'm
on what
7.
it is.
Changing my score up a little bit here.
They give you a slight information about
this is what I'm hoping to happen.
Yeah.
With this end result here. Yeah, aesthetic, I was at 6 out of 10, but I do want to give it a 7 because of the information. They don't have the mash bill, but they should.
The
The bottle itself isn't the best. I mean, it's got the screw cap. The whiskey isn't too dark, but they straight up tell you this is a 100 proof bourbon, aged for 4 years, produced at a single distillery within a single distillation season. Sorry, it's bottled and bond, bottled under U.S. government supervision, single distillery. Yeah, aesthetics. I definitely think that when they're given that much information, it deserves to have a good score as far as the aesthetics, for sure.
And you gotta like that it's got Evan Williams' actual signature on it. It says Evan Williams' signature as it appeared on an 18th century distillation license. That's pretty effing cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, huh? Yeah, I do see that.
7 out of 10. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's charcoal filtered, which I mean, did anybody say anything about charcoal or
sour
Did you say anything about that, Bumpy? Like clay, maybe? That's sort of close.
Yeah, but nobody said anything about like char.
No, I didn't get any char out of this at all.
No, I didn't really get much char either.
It's not supposed to add flavor. It's supposed to take flavor away.
We had charcoal.
Well, it's supposed to make it that legendary word that nobody likes to say.
Mellow.
Smooth. Yeah.
Say whatever you want.
I mean, 7 out of 10. Like I said, the bottle. I always bring it back to the fact that, like, you see this sitting on the shelves. I bet you any money if you did go look for it tonight, like let's say Dan, when you saw it, you instantly knew what it was. It's got that shelf appeal. You know what it is. You see the company, Evan Williams. They're popular. They're everywhere. I always take that into consideration. Yeah, 7 out of 10, good score. Nose, I gave it a 13 out of 20. I was getting a little bit more ethanol. I also have a fresh cracked bottle. Complexity was a little lacking, but I definitely got your typical bourbon notes. Got a little bit of that typical Heaven Hill nuttiness. I actually I like the regular Evan Williams, even though it is a bottom shelf bourbon, blah, 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 whatever people complain about it, say it's crap. I like it. I personally think it's okay. I got, just intensified Evan Williams, 13 out of 20, a little bit better than your average. Some stuff I've had, $15, $20. You pretty much get nothing but booze. This had a little bit of that vanilla. You got a little bit of that peanut. Flavor was good, but it was kind of lacking like that Heaven Hill typical flavor note you want. You got a little bit more oak, a little bit more astringency. The nuttiness was a little bit more tame than your typical Heaven Hill product. I like the nuttiness. I was getting some, like I said, I was getting like butterscotch and like dark chocolate and vanilla. So the flavor I thought was pretty good. I gave it a 14 out of 20, which isn't bad. The mouthfeel I thought was a little bit thinner, but still better than average. A little bit thinner for a 50% 100 proof, or 50% ABV 100 proof. So yeah, 12 out of 20. Finish, I give it 13. I like the finish. It had a little bit of that like cinnamon spice note. Like I said, I got a little bit of that chocolate, a little bit of the oak, but like compared to let's say like 101, much better in my opinion. The 101 was. And then for the value, I gave an 8 out of 10. Can't go wrong. It's bottled and bond bourbon for 18, 20 bucks. Let's say 20 bucks. That's what I paid. Bottled and bond bourbon for 20 bucks. Can't go wrong. Readily available everywhere. Definitely a bourbon that works good in cocktails. You can drink it neat. You can drink it on ice. And originally, I was at 66 out of 100 when I was at 6 out of 10 aesthetics. But after bringing up my score to 7 out of 10 aesthetics, I'm sitting at a 67 out of 100.
Yeah, all right.
Which gives us an average of 66.
Woo.
Okay, now I need to get everyone's score again. So Dan, what was yours?
62.
Double check Dan's math there, yeah.
Bumpy, what was yours?
68.
And Eric?
And I averaged 67. It should be about 66 when we do yours as well.
$62 out of 100 from Dan.
Yep.
68 out of 100 from Bumpy.
Yeah.
Then 67 out of 100 from me and Eric. What's the average?
66. That's what I said. That gives us an average of 66.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yep.
I've been just tallying up as we go.
Yep, that's right. I double check it.
And that still leaves the bottom of the barrel, Four Roses with a 61.
Whoa, okay.
What's the highest?
Russell's 10 with an 81.
Wow.
So the next closest to Evan Williams Bottle and Bond would be the Knob Creek with an average of 71.
Nice.
You know, when that comment popped up, I didn't really notice the name right away. And I'm like, is this person even watching the stream? Of course we're drinking that. But I was like, oh, it's Eric. That's right.
Yeah. Y'all had anything else? Let us know. Any other bottle and bonds we should take a look at? Oh, Old Granddad bottle and bonds is super effing cheap one. I don't think I've ever had that either.
Let's go on the what's the one that's in the funky shape bottle?
I don't know where to find that thing. You're talking about the Old Granddad 114, right?
Yeah.
Commerce says an extra $1 for the 1783 small batch.
I think it's more than that now, unfortunately.
1792. Oh, the 83, the Evan Williams, yeah.
Tanner, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah. Why you guys want to do some shout outs for your channels?
We're about an hour. I know we try and keep it at about an hour.
Yeah. Do some shout out. Shout you guys shout yourselves out.
I got elves in the house. I'd like to shout out Joe over the Beer Patrol. He has made his triumphant return to the YouTubes. So go check him out. I know he's not necessarily a whiskey. I like to shout out at least one whiskey channel. Was it Whiskey Stuff and Things? Yes. They just did a really cool live stream for charity where they raised like a bunch of money for mental health and everything and gave away some pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, shout out to them. I like their stuff because they do like a lot of like blinds and battles of blinds and it's pretty cool. So I like their channel. So if you want a good whiskey channel to check out them.
Nice.
Cool. Anything going on for FLX?
Nah, we're losers.
Check out Mike.
Yeah, check out Mike. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Mike is there.
Oh, Mike.
Check out Mike. But no, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a video coming out. We just released Beer Man's.
I watched that today at work.
Homebrew. We did like an unboxing and the review concurrent. Just because we can never really join the panel, just because we work nights and you guys usually do the panel, at nighttime during the week. So, yeah, check it out. Really good. Check it out. Like I said in the review, when it comes to Beer Man, at a point he's gonna stop calling it homebrew because he's getting pretty goddamn good at this. I really like that triple. It was nice. All right, on to you, Mr. Potato Head.
All because I started with chugging the.
He's got a bunch of mash in his belly.
Sound man. I've been waiting to drink the whiskey all night. I had to save it. I didn't have much left. Apparently, I had more than I thought. It makes it look like a less of a amount in this bottle. I started there last week. So yeah, on my channel, trying to put out at least a video a week, sometimes two, but mostly just one. So yeah, I have to get to editing something to put out for this week. I think I threw away the can by accident, but I believe it's a beer from the Vale, and I believe it is the White Ferrari. So if you want to see my inspection on the White Ferrari
from the Vale,
it'll be out sometime this week.
Bourbon boy.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, yeah, congratulations to Joe coming back. I'm glad that he's able to continue to at least have some beers and stuff and review them. So that's good to see. He did put out a review today, and also a vlog. I'm not sure if that was yesterday or today. All my days kind of run together sometimes. I don't know. I've been all over the place with what I watch. I've been trying to get back to watching more beer reviewers like I had been before my 6-month life change when I became a mobile gamer, and yeah, I kind of had my head in my phone all the time, and I just didn't have time to do everything else I used to do. But getting back to my regular reality again, and watching some more beer reviews. FLX always on my list. Trying to catch stuff from Tanner, of course. Joe, the Bear Patrol. I need to catch up. I used to try to watch his stuff every single day. It's hard to keep up with Joe. And now I'm just not gonna try to keep up. I'm just wherever I pick up, and I'm gonna go. But yeah, shout out to Jean H. Pierre as well. He's a beer reviewer. It's a good channel to check out. Good honest reviewer. And he can ramble. Yeah, the Beverage Rambler, I think is actually what his channel name is.
Jean's a good.
He could definitely tell a story about nothing.
I was going to say, Jean is a good YouTube channel if you want to listen to him podcast style.
Yeah.
You totally just throw on some earpods and listen to Jean talk about like
God knows what.
Oh, he'll talk about the area. Like he'll be like, yeah, you got, this beer was here, and back in the day it was.
Yeah, you should just do a podcast at this point.
So that's my shout out type stuff.
Nice. Cheers, Moby. Awesome, bro.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here. What you got over there,
Eric? So if you look for the Massachusetts beer reviews, you'll see Thomas Metal 75's name pop up. That is my YouTube channel on YouTube. Primarily, I am doing beer reviews and whiskey reviews, and we do the Wild Card Wednesday every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern time, Boston, New York time. Just bring a beer, wine, or a spirit. Let's have some fun. Just don't be a douche. That is highly important to me. I'm also in a band called Oxboard Forge. You check us out on bandcamp.com if you want to buy some CDs, vinyl, cassette tapes, download some music, merchandising. Search for us wherever you stream music if you like old school 80s heavy metal mixed with a little bit of doom and stoner rock. There you go. As far as some people to watch on YouTube, there is a gentleman out of the country of Canada called Whiskey Neighbor with a BOUR for neighbor. And that guy is very entertaining, and he will.
Oh, he's awesome.
Different bourbons, whiskeys, Irish, scotches, and sometimes he'll do a couple of them together to give you a back-to-back perspective of what one tastes like versus the next one. If one bourbon kind of brought out, or one whiskey brought out a flavor that the other one didn't, vice versa. So go check out the Whiskey Neighbor. Real good content. And
not only is he a great reviewer, he's also an awesome supporter. That guy,
yeah, sure,
comments on all my whiskey reviews.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Yeah, he's really cool, and he's from Canada. And happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian friends out there. If we didn't,
you too, Bob Middlefrew.
Yeah. What kind of fowl do you guys eat?
What?
Let's see. Go check out another YouTube channel called Club Dirty. That's a cool channel. They'll review all kinds of spirits, no matter what they are, low end, flavored, higher end stuff. A lot of the mid tier kind of price liquors and liqueurs and stuff like that. And people will comment to him and recommend you. Oh, you got to try this bottle with this soda, or this bottle with this juice, or this bottle with this. Name your style of mixer up into including energy drinks, and he'll say if it's pretty good or not. He'll give it a score out of 10. So yeah, Club Dirty. I believe it's in the Miami area, and with a whiskey neighbor up there in Canada. Cheerios.
Cheers, man.
And Canned Beer Reviews. Woo.
All right. So yeah, I do have some beer reviews, and possibly some other liquor reviews. I do have a whiskey that I haven't reviewed yet. This Starlight Double Oaked. I think I'm going to review that possibly Wednesday or Thursday because I do have the day off. But look out for some more reviews. I have pre-recorded. I just need to edit and upload. One of them being a Goose Island Belgian style farmhouse. Belgian style. Was it a farmhouse ale? I think it was a Belgian style farmhouse ale from 2016 called Jillian from Goose Island that me and Bumpy reviewed. So look out for that. That'll be posted soon. Yeah, gonna be doing some more examinations possibly next Monday. Probably everybody's not gonna have any clue what's going on once again. Like Mr. Dan over here will have to do everything last minute. Let everybody.
I'll tell you what. If you message me on Wednesday and say, "Hey, I want to do this,"
you told everybody you wanted to do this.
I said Elijah Craig. God dang it!
I don't know if you said that, but all right.
I'll just turn it into Evan Williams.
Yeah, let's just blame Dan. But okay. Other than that, yeah. So just look out for my videos, my live streams. I do have a good amount of beers that I want to record reviews on, but I think I might do some more Rate That beers. I'm thinking about just kind of going all out and trying to review as many beers as I can on Rate That beer. I think that would be fun to have like 3 or 4 beers and just continue to review beers, and other people can hop on and kind of make a day out of it. Possibly my next day off. Might get a little hectic, but I'll try to do it. Other than that, check out Kilco Whiskey Musings. Great whiskey review channel. And then also check out Straight Out Bourbon. Another great whiskey channel. Bad Axe Bourbon. Check him out. And then Scotch Down Under. Yes, there it is. Scotch Down Under. He's been going live a lot, so check him out. He's been going live for the past maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the past week. So go check him out. And yeah, cheers to everyone. I am searching for ECBP C923. The last one that I had.
Yeah, dude.
I had the B520 Aussie. So I haven't bought ECBP in a while.
C922 is really good.
That's actually really cool shilling hat, considering you look like a psychopath.
No country for old men, son.
But yeah, special thanks to the panel, Mr. Williams, aka Dan, aka FLX Beer Reviews.
I'm bottled and bond, sir.
51% of FLX Beer Reviews. He technically
goddamn right.
He technically owns Mike.
100% of Alex the Beer Master.
Dan.
That one too, baby.
He also owns half of Alex Beermaster. Shout out to Alex. Go check him out.
No.
Subscribe. Alex is, I bet you any money, Alex has the watch hours. Go over to Alex and subscribe to him because he's getting there.
Please.
They just brought out those 2 different monetizations. I know Alex with all those Alex and Friends. I know he has the watch hours.
I can assure you my pockets are getting lined at
He's
the moment.
like 20-something subscribers away from being monetized. Go subscribe to Alex. Show him some love. I know once Alex gets monetized, I know he's just going to be bouncing up and down. You know, he's going to love it. So go drop him a sub. Cheers to Das Bumpy, also known as Jesse Bumpy Road Brews. Good friend of mine. Check him out. Good beer reviews. Pick up the pace, Bumpy.
Where's that hook for the Oscars? Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, whatever. No, yeah. Great beer reviews. Bumpy Road Brews over there. Everybody, here we go. Here's Bumpy Road Brews. There's Dan. There's Eric. And Thomas Mel 75, also known as Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Go check them out. Shout out to the chat. Evening and cheers. I've had several. Nice. I don't think I've ever seen you in my chat here before, Scott Stutzman. So cheers to you, man. Thanks for stopping by hanging out.
Scott.
We'll be doing something again possibly next Monday. Another examination.
Don't mind Bumpy. He's just grumpy all the time.
So shout out to Independent Joe. Go check him out. Awesome whiskey reviewer. Does a lot of bourbon reviews. Alex. Just me and Angie. We had Cheech in here. Check out Whiskey Uncle with Cheech.
Boy, I've got something to share with you.
And that's it. No room for Dan to share anything. That's this. All right. Bye, everyone. All right. Well, thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to the panel. It's been fun. We'll have to do the Evan Williams regular one.
Never.
Here. Never. Okay. And there you have it. If there's anything else you guys like to see on my channel, make sure to leave a comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my upcoming videos. Like weird. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.
Oh, Dan doesn't get to share anything?
Nope.